Today, on behalf of the Wales Farm Safety Partnership, we're privileged to be visiting Brian Rees at home on his farm. Now, Brian is a health and safety mentor for Farming Connect, and today we're going to be concentrating on the safe use of quad bikes and any attached tools or machines. Adam, Brian's son, is going to be demonstrating the best practice for us.
On farms throughout Wales and the rest of the country, unfortunately, every year we have a lot of accidents involving quads or ATVs, and it's absolutely essential to prevent accidents happening on these machines that it gets given a good daily check over to make sure it's safe before you use it for the day. Adam's starting to do this one now. He's starting now with the front tyre, checking the pressure. It's important this is the right pressure, and it can be anything from 4 to 7 psi, and it's stated on individual machines what that pressure should be, so always check that. Next then he's checking the engine oil level. It's important that the bike is on the level so he gets an accurate reading on that one. Just checking the footwell as he passes, there's no muck in there. On to the next wheels on the machine, right round, cleaning the lights at the back in case he's going onto the highway or crossing the road, full walk round. And then the important thing, particularly on the footwell where the back brake is situated, make sure there's no mud and stuff in under the pedal that could affect the use of the back brake. Round to the front, check the lights are clean, and then on to the quad. First of all, gets his helmet on. Now, it's absolutely essential that anyone on a quad wears a helmet. A lot of the deaths that occur on ATV accidents are caused by a fractured skull. Admittedly, the helmet doesn't stop the accident happening, but if you do hit your head on a stone or a fencing post, naturally the helmet is there to protect you. He's then checking the controls on the machine then. He's checking that the throttle is moving freely. So when you push it down, it springs back. So the bike will slow down as appropriate. He's checking the front brakes are working okay. There's plenty of meat on them. He's checking the operation of the park brake. And then into the steering is nice and solid. Fuel comes in again. Checking the fuel level indicator on the front there will tell him that he's got enough fuel for the day's work. If he finds anything else during that check that may affect the safety of the machine, it's absolutely essential that that gets fixed before that machine is used and taken out on a day's work. One important thing when you are riding quads, particularly on slopes, is to keep the bike as stable as possible. We tend to do this through active riding. Now, if you notice, he's coming up the bank now and he's leaning forward on the machine, keeping the weight on the front end so the machine isn't unstable. When he comes to the top now, he's turning round, leveling up on the machine, but then when he goes down, he'll then move his weight back on the seat then, to keep extra weight on the back end. The total intention is to always keep equal weight on all four wheels at all times. Now when you're crossing the slope, the active riding comes in again. If you notice Adam now, he's moving his body weight to the top end of the machine to make sure it stays stable going along the slope. Now as he turns round then at the other end, he'll bring his weight back to the center, and then when he comes back along at the other angle then, he's again moving his body weight to the upper side of the quad to make sure that the bike stays stable. And this really emphasizes the importance of the tire pressures that we checked earlier in the daily checks. Unfortunately, a lot of accidents happen on ATVs or quads when people don't load it properly if you're carrying something. All quads may have different capacities, and it's essential that you check your sticker on your quad to know how much weight you can actually carry. In this case, we've got equal weight. On most quads, you can carry a little bit more on the back than you can on the front. One word of warning for people who are using possibly a 60-litre sprayer tank on the back. which may be within the capacity of the machine, but if you're on any sort of slope or rough terrain, it's absolutely essential that you counterweight the front so that the bike can remain stable as you're moving around. We've strapped this now. You can strap it across or you can strap it forward back, depends on your load. The most important thing that it remains stable and solid on the quad, especially if you happen to be going over some rough terrain or something like that, which is so important. Again, let's keep this bike stable. Right, now we come to using the quad as a towing machine. Now, the first thing you need to check, and this is essential, is the towing capacity of your quad. This will be in the manufacturer's instructions, and this will ensure you don't overload the machine in any way. Secondly then, when you come to load your machine, you load it nice and even, so you've got equal weight each side. The axle of this particular trailer is dead center, so the drawbar weight shouldn't vary too much from when it's empty to when it's loaded. Again, keep the load as low as possible. If you have to have a sudden brake or a sudden acceleration, it doesn't move around. So you don't want stuff sliding forward and back, up and down the trailer. Again, also keep it as low as possible. Again, keeping that machine and its trailer as stable as you possibly can. A lot of the points we've showed you today are all backed up by the law, and the main regulation that affects use of machinery on farms are the PURE regulations, the provision and use of work equipment regulations. Now, one of the first points of them is that any equipment we use must be suitable for task. Secondly, they must be safe and in good working order. And thirdly, in the PURE regs, everybody who operates a quad must have been trained and are competent to handle the machine safely. Also, there's a legal requirement on all owners of machines to follow the manufacturer's instructions. And as far as the quad is concerned, is that the fact that no one under 16 should be allowed to ride these machines. If you follow all the pointers that we've given you today, I'm hoping that your operating skills will be safe and good to keep you and your quad as safe as possible and avoid a lot of the accidents we tend to have. And the helmet is always there to protect you.